Welcome back to the news at 10. The Imo State Governor, Rochas Okorocha, has called on the State House of Assembly to amend the section which states that every woman shall have the right to enjoy reproductive rights, including the right to medical abortions in the cases of sexual assault, rape or incest. Now, this led to a protest by the clergy, traditional rulers and some medical practitioners in the state, describing the move as a ploy to legalize abortion. Our community report tonight examines the law that's generated this controversy.
Etisala, now you're talking.
Owerri, the ever-bustling capital of Imo State, has for a little while had a dark cloud hovering over it. This is because of an issue that is pitching the church and state on opposite sides.
Every local government headquarters of Imo State.
It all began with the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Law No. 12 of 2012, passed by the Imo State House of Assembly and signed by the Imo State Governor, Rochas Okorocha.
And there are about 43 other items in that particular law.
This law is aimed at eliminating domestic violence to provide maximum protection and effective remedies for victims and punishment for offenders. To some, the law remains one of the biggest things to happen to Imo State.
For me, the best law that has been passed by the Imo State House of Assembly since 1999. The provision there is not something we should sensationalize to the extent that it's being sensationalized. You know, I think it provided for the reproductive rights of a woman. And it is important for our men to understand that the women have as much rights as the men do have.
But there are always those who do not share their excitement.
It is wrong in all perspectives to kill a child. Rape, incest, whichsoever reason, it does not qualify you because the law has said you should do that. It doesn't qualify you to do such, not at all.
It's a wrong bill passed by the government. It's really a wrong bill. How can my wife going to have an abortion out of my consent? It's a wrong bill. It's a wrong bill.
Some religious leaders, however, see it as a total failure, as they feel the law legalizes abortion, albeit subtly.
It was passed, purported to be violence against persons prohibition law. However, let us, if you go through the bill, the first thing that will strike you is that there is not even a definition of who is a person. But because you have to define the subject matter, if they had gone through to define who is a person, you will find out that the person starts from the beginning of life, the unborn child. The worst form of abortion we call partial birth abortion. Abortion whereby you deliver somebody and kill the person in the process. This is the worst crime ever done.
However, coming to the defense, some lawmakers in the Imo State House of Assembly say there was no time the House passed any abortion bill into law, and it's a case of misunderstanding.
Words at any time can have alternative meanings. So, having gone through the provisions of Section 40, subsection 1, subsection I can understand where the Catholic and the religious is coming from. I am persuaded by the argument that the words used there are elastic in nature, that it can be misconstrued as granting a right for a woman to abort. But simply, it is not the intendment or purpose of the law number 12 to grant right to abortion in Imo State.
This House has the noblest intentions in passing the bill, giving the power of arising cases of physical, sexual, psychological, emotional violence against persons, especially women and children. It was meant to address this holistically in all forms of violence against women.
For Governor Rochas Okorocha, the uproar about this law seems like a big mix-up and appeals to the residents to be calm.
I will appeal to this honorable House, Mr. Speaker, that we should not even only talk about amending that law. I think we should appeal to you to delete it completely. And more importantly, that the federal law has taken care of this. So there's no point repeating what the law has also taken care of. So I hope this honorable House can make this possible.
As the subject matter continues to generate heat in the state, September 10th has been fixed by the House of Assembly to take one last look at this law. Until then, it's a watch and wait game.
Prt3, now you're talking.
Now, it's good news for Nigerian farmers as the African Exchange Holding Company, founded by businessman Tony Elumelu, has signed an agreement with the federal government to create a warehouse that will enable Nigerian farmers store their goods. Mr. Elumelu, who is also the chairman of Heirs Holdings, describes the initiative as a way of empowering more farmers and ensuring that agriculture is not only commercially viable, but a strong contributor to the Nigerian economy.
Nigerian farmers may now use receipts for their produce stored in warehouses across the country as collateral for loans. The chairman of Heirs Holdings, Mr. Tony Elumelu, announced the initiative as he signed a memorandum of understanding with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture.
Agric is not a social service. Agric is for business. You can make business in agric, and that is what people like us have bought into, and that's what encourages people like us to invest in agriculture. And I believe that today, more Nigerians will see and begin to identify opportunities in agri-space. More Nigerians will become apostles and believe that indeed you can make a lot of money in agriculture whilst also touching human lives.
The Minister of Agriculture, who signed on behalf of the federal government, is optimistic that the memorandum will help to improve the access of farmers to markets and reduce post-harvest losses.
The idea is to create an agricultural commodity exchange. Agricultural commodity exchange allows our farmers to have access to markets. It makes it easier for them to know what the prices of commodities are. It allows them to be able to have grades and standards that they can use to enter markets. It allows them to have what is called a warehouse receipt system, which they can use to go to a bank. You put a grain in a particular warehouse, you get a receipt for it. It's secured by a collateral manager, and you can take that to the bank and say, look, I've got a grain to back whatever loan that you're trying to give me. That's what a commodity exchange does for you.
The special advisor to Africa Exchange Holdings Limited listed the benefits of the Memorandum of Understanding to Nigerian farmers.
We have so much potential to be the breadbasket of the world and to feed the nations, and we need to uplift agriculture. And I believe that the establishment of sustainable commodity exchanges can go a long way in serving that purpose.
Africa Exchange Holdings AFEX is a holding company co-founded by Heirs Holdings, Begrain Holdings and 50 Ventures in partnership with the Tony Elumelu Foundation and the Begrain Institute of Governance. Its objective is to develop a network of commodity exchanges across Africa to ensure higher incomes for farmers.
Truly the first.
For the rest of the business news, here's Adeshawa Josh. Shawa.
Oh, thank you. Nigeria's Sovereign Investment Authority has indicated interest in 4 major sectors of the economy as part of its investment plans, including the agriculture sector. Speaking at the 19th Nigerian Economic Summit today, the Chief Executive Officer of the NSIA, Uche Orji, says the agency sees investment opportunities in the agriculture sector and will invest according to the guidelines of the agency.
But there are 4 areas we have seen opportunity and we're evaluating them. Number 1, we have seen areas in storage that we are evaluating. We have also expressed interest in water resources. We have expressed interest in water resources in terms of multi-use dam infrastructure, which I think has implications for agriculture. And we have also started to evaluate the opportunities in the staple crop processing area. And then finally, we're looking at transportation, as well as linking all of this into what I think is the key ingredients of an effective commodities exchange. So with storage, transportation, you can then actually realistically have a futures market, which is what I think drives the commodities exchange.
Still on the agriculture sector, The Chief Executive Officer of Stanbic IBTC Bank, Shola David Boha, says lending to the agriculture sector has been made easy by the reforms put in place. Speaking also at the 19th Nigerian Economic Summit, David Boha added that the ongoing reforms will lead to more schemes and funding agriculture in Nigeria. Moving on now, Dangote Industries Limited today signed a loan agreement with a consortium of both local and international banks to the tune of $3.3 billion. The loan is aimed at facilitating the largest petroleum refinery in Africa and will also help build a fertilizer plant. In an exclusive interview with Channels Television, President of the Dangote Group Limited, Aliko Dangote, was optimistic that the 400,000 barrels per day capacity refinery will reduce the volume of imported fuel and effectively stop the importation of fertilizers.
Provide and close the gap of imports. We want to make sure that Nigeria stop importing petroleum products. We want to make sure that it is totally eliminated. If it's not eliminated, I can assure you it's going to be a major challenge by importing petroleum products that will service 200 million people by 2020. And that is why I think somebody has to move. And we have actually, we have made this bold move. The government have actually created the enabling environment for us to come in and invest this much amount of money. Projected time is actually 3 years down the line. Okay, it's 3 years down the line. Being that it is 3 years down the line, it means that we must have done quite a lot of work. As I'm talking to you today, the LC, the letter of credit for the fertilizer, had already been issued by the banks about 3 months ago. What we have done today is a portion of the bank loan that which we have signed.
And now we head straight to the Nigerian equities market, where the equities at the stock market marginally dipped, albeit very little. All share index shed 0.04%. And here is Loretta Chiogo with the details.
Welcome to Stock Market Report. The Nigerian stock market on Wednesday witnessed a further decline in equities trading today. As sell pressure continued with weak sentiments among investors, the key benchmark indices sank in the southward zone. The all-share index dropped to 36,215.57 points. The market's capitalization was reduced to 11.48 trillion naira. Now, leading the gainers lane, GlaxoSmithKline closed upstick at 63 naira 40 kobo. PZ gained by 7.94%, and WAPCO, which recorded losses in the previous session today, made gains by 1.66%. The decline has had Nigerian breweries on top of the chart today. With a 1 naira 70 kobo loss in price, Champion Breweries came next in line. Highest trade was observed in the stocks of Continental Insurance, which made away with a volume of 50.4 million naira. WAPIC traded shares worth of 35.6 million naira, and the market's value came to 3 million naira. Other equities market indicators include the value, which closed at 11.4 billion, and the deals of the day, which was summed up as 5,323.